Yo, what's up, guys? You ready to finally do another tier list? It's been a while.
Hell yeah, Barry, what do you have for us this time?
I was thinking we could rank all the mainline Call of Duty games. There's a lot of them, but I think it could be interesting to see everyone's thoughts on the franchise as a whole.
That's a good idea, Barry. I have a lot of strong opinions on these games, especially given the varying degrees of quality that these games have.
This should be fun. Hopefully we don't end up arguing too much, but I'm excited regardless.
I already know you're going to come in with some cringe takes, Joe, so be prepared to defend yourself. But anyways, we should go ahead and get started. We have a lot of games to get through.
But before we get into things, let me tell you about today's sponsor, Raycon. Think of a moment in your daily life where you just want to tune into something great. For me, it's music when I go on walks outside. But sometimes you've got to tune out all the background noise just to focus, which is why I want to tell you about the Raycon Everyday Earbuds. Their new upgraded model includes active noise cancellation, so you can drown out outside distractions. They also come in a variety of new eye-catching colors that will complement any and all skin tones. Personally, my favorite color is blue, which is a nice change from the typical black or white earbuds on the market. I've been using my Raycon earbuds for about 2 months now when I work out or edit videos, and I can say with 100% certainty that these are the best earbuds I have ever used, which is why I'm happy to share that if you click the link in the description box below, or by going to buyraycon.com/jshaw, you can get 20% off your Raycon purchase plus free shipping. Again, that's buyraycon.com/jshaw to get 20% off your purchase and free shipping. Huge thanks to Raycon for sponsoring today's video. I hope you check out their line of amazing products. Now back to the video.
All right, let's get this tier list started. First up is the original Call of Duty. Now, personally, I haven't really played these first 3 COD games, and I assume nobody here really cares about them. We should put them all in D tier or something since they were important to building the franchise, but don't really hold up to modern standards.
Now wait just a cotton-picking second, Barry. I happen to love the original Call of Duty. I played this back when it released, and it was truly innovative for the time. It still holds up today.
Jesus Christ, Biden, you sound more sleepy than usual. Did you run out of Adderall from Hunter's stash? Also, I wouldn't mention picking cotton around Barry. You might trigger some bad memories. And let's not kid ourselves here, Joe. The original Call of Duty was nothing more than a ripoff of Medal of Honor. I know you may like this prehistoric relic, given that you're a living fossil yourself. But let's be objective here. This game sucks. I'd put it in F tier.
Donald's right, Joe. This game is just a generic World War II shooter. I mean, is there anything memorable about this game that you can recall? Any interesting levels or set pieces that come to mind?
Well, of course, George. There's the, what were we talking about again?
Damn it, Joe. I thought you were about to actually contribute something interesting to the conversation, but I guess I was giving you too much credit. Let's just put this game in D tier and move on.
Next up is Call of Duty 2, and like Barry already said, it's pretty much the same shit as the first Call of Duty. A forgettable World War II shooter from a bygone era.
I never played the original COD 2, but I loved the big red one. It was Treyarch's first Call of Duty game and a true classic.
Well, we aren't ranking the big red one, Joe, but how about we get the big orange one's opinion? Any insight you can give us on this game, Donald?
Fuck you, Barack. But why would I have anything to say about this garbage game? The only thing I know is that they reused one of the maps from this game in COD World War II. But otherwise, who cares about this game? F tier.
It would be kind of funny to put it in F tier because why the hell not? I doubt anyone would get too upset over it.
You all are so mean. So many people put their hearts and souls into this game. It deserves to be in B tier at least.
Have you lost your fucking mind, Joe? I was gonna argue to put this shit in D tier, but just because of that little comment, I think we should put this all the way down in F tier.
Now that's what I'm talking about, George. Drop it in F like you drop bombs on civilians, Barry. Next up is COD 3, and the first true COD game developed by Treyarch. And once again, a shitty World War II shooter. What a joke.
Yeah, I mean, what else is there to say? Even after just 3 games, I bet gamers were getting sick of this shit. No innovation at all to be found here.
I don't even want to waste another second talking about these first 3 COD games. Can we please just put it in F tier and move on to the real games?
Oh, come on, Jack. I had a whole 10-minute presentation ready for why COD 3 is an underrated masterpiece. Just let me cook.
I'd rather cut my ears off than listen to even 1 second of your incoherent ramblings of why COD 3 is supposedly anything other than total dog shit, Joe. Now it's going in F tier, and that's final.
Joe, please stop crying. We'll take your opinions into consideration going forward, I promise. But we can't waste too much time on these older games. We still have a lot to get through. Now let's just move on to COD 4. Time for the golden age of Call of Duty games, starting with the legendary Modern Warfare.
The true definition of a classic right here, boys. An amazing campaign combined with an innovative multiplayer experience for the time that still holds up today. What's not to love? And that question was rhetorical, by the way, Joe, before you start spewing some nonsense about why this game sucks.
I happen to love this game too, Donald, so don't get ahead of yourself here. You're right, though. Modern Warfare was a game changer, no pun intended. There was truly nothing like it at the time. Fast-paced multiplayer action, a gripping campaign with memorable characters like Captain Price and Soap. I have so many fond memories playing this back in 2007.
Wow, nice job, Joe. You actually managed to string together more than a few sentences without losing your train of thought and making some good points, too.
Not gonna lie, I completely missed out on the original Modern Warfare. I was too busy running the country at the time, so I didn't get to experience it during its peak. I played the remaster when that came out. It was pretty fun, but not the best Call of Duty game, in my opinion. I'd give it like a B tier.
Damn, George, it's like an S tier for me personally, but I guess you just had to be there. I played that shit all day, every day. Michelle even almost divorced me because I neglected her and the kids.
I'm tempted to agree, Barack. It's not only one of the most iconic Call of Duty games, but also one of the most iconic games of all time. But I'm trying to be objective. And I think most future Call of Duty titles just improved on the foundation it set. I think A tier is the most reasonable.
I hate when you're right, Donald, but it's true. For a first attempt, they really knocked it out of the park, but future games just improved upon the formula and continued to innovate. I'm fine with A tier.
All right, I guess I'm cool with that, even if it hurts a little. Let's put it in A and move on.
Next up, we have another goated game, Call of Duty: World at War.
Treyarch's first masterpiece title, even though it was another World War II game, this one was leaps and bounds ahead of the original COD trilogy. The graphics were gritty and realistic for the time, with modernized gunplay and mechanics taken from COD 4.
Not to mention it was the birthplace of zombies. I remember Joe and I beating the campaign together and unlocking Nacht der Untoten. We were both freaked the fuck out. It was a complete surprise after the realistic and grounded campaign. Joe definitely needed a change of diapers after that.
I would have paid to see that, Barry, but that's another thing too. You could play campaign with your friends. It really felt like you were fighting on the front lines together against unstoppable odds.
All right, you didn't have to say that in the most zesty way possible, Donald, but I agree. So many great missions in that game. Semper Fi, Little Resistance, Vendetta, Burn 'em Out, Downfall. Just thinking about it makes me want to replay it right now.
I don't like the first mission, Semper Fi, personally. You play as a captured soldier, and I frankly don't like soldiers who are captured.
I still can't believe you were able to say that shit about John McCain and get away with it. Anyone else's political career would have been ruined instantly. Speaking of McCain, though, Joe and I used to stomp him and Sarah Palin in some 2v2 multiplayer matches back during the campaign trail. If he was as bad with guns in real life as he was in shooter games, I can see why he was captured, honestly.
God damn, you guys are fucked up. Let's just rank the damn game already. We still have so many to get through. I say World at War is an undisputed S tier personally.
Yeah, I mean, we owe zombies to this game, and the campaign and multiplayer still hold up extremely well. I'm not opposed to S tier.
You know I'm not going to argue with that. World at War is a masterpiece. Let's put that shit in S tier.
Next up, we have truly the most iconic COD game of all time, Modern Warfare 2. What's left to be said about this game? Everything about it is nearly perfect.
It's definitely Infinity Ward's magnum opus, one of the best campaigns in Call of Duty history with so many legendary moments. The introduction training mission, saving Soap from the Gulag, Ghost's death and Shepard's reveal as a traitor. No fucking Russian. It doesn't get much better than this.
Ghost's death still gets me teary-eyed. But yeah, we all agree. The campaign is goated with the sauce. Multiplayer had so many fan-favorite maps too, like Terminal, Rust, Skid Row, High Rise, Afghan. I could go on.
I used to drop so many nukes on that game. The one-man army noob-tube combo was so much fun.
So you were one of those players, eh, Barry? I was a beast with the throwing knife and my trusty UMP 45, or as I like to call it, the Trump 45. Pretty fitting since I was the 45th president, too.
I mostly played Spec Ops. Multiplayer was too much of a sweat fest for my old aching bones to keep up with.
I doubt your frail, demented snowflake ass would survive a Modern Warfare 2 lobby anyways, Joe. Now, are we all in agreement that this game should go in S tier then?
You won't hear any complaints here, Donald. Let's put it in S where it belongs.
Next up, we have Black Ops 1. Black Ops 1.
Damn you, Joe, you sussy baka. Put some respect on Black Ops 1. It's another all-time great.
Yeah, Call of Duty was on fire during this time. Every game just seemed to get better and better. The Cold War era campaign, inspired by real-life events and conspiracies, was truly incredible to play through.
Yeah, and there were so many amazing characters introduced, such as Alex Mason, Frank Woods, Hudson, and even the return of Reznov from World at War. And the twist with him being a hallucination was mind-blowing. Hell, even just the main menu, with you trapped in the chair that you could escape from, was badass.
Zombies was so much fun too during this time. We've already spoken about how great the BO1 zombie maps were during our map ranking tier list, but they make an already amazing game that much better.
We also got awesome multiplayer maps like Nuketown for the first time, as well as others like Firing Range, Jungle, and Summit. Just an all-around great Call of Duty game, and another game worthy of S tier in my opinion.
What do you say, boys? Do we go 3 for 3 with the S tier? I think it deserves it.
Hell yeah, Donnie. Black Ops 1 is a masterpiece, definitely worthy of S tier.
I agree. Let's drop it in S, boys.
Next up, we have Modern Warfare 3, or as I like to call it, Mid Warfare 3.
Damn, you're just gonna go there right out the gate, huh, Trump? Well, I don't exactly disagree. It feels more like Modern Warfare 2.5 than a full sequel. Not much innovation or changes in general from MW2's gameplay, just a bit more refined and balanced, although a lot of the fun from MW2 was how busted everything was.
I think you guys are being too harsh here. Sure, it wasn't a revolutionary title or anything, but it was still really solid. The campaign, while a slight step down from MW2, still had some great moments. I mean, Soap's death was probably even sadder than Ghost's. And taking down that bastard Makarov once and for all was so fucking satisfying.
I'm with Tower Toppler here. I played this more than MW2 personally. Survival mode was a nice change of pace from zombies at the time, and Spec Ops was just as good as it was in MW2.
You're just saying that because you were too scared to play zombies back then, Joe. But I will concede at least that this game had some good multiplayer maps. Dome, Seatown, Underground, and Fallen were a few of my favorites. But it still isn't enough for me to rank this Modern Warfare 2 reskin that highly. It's a C tier game for me.
I think that's a bit too low, Donald. I mean, this game introduced Infected as a standard game mode you could queue up for, which I spent hours playing, not to mention the face-off maps, which allowed you to play 1v1, 2v2, and 3v3 on maps designed just for them. I think it's an A-tier game.
How about we meet in the middle at B tier? It's a solid game, but nothing spectacular, so I think it's a fitting placement.
I agree with Bush that it's an A-tier game, but I guess I can settle for that.
Fine by me, I suppose. Let's just move on.
Next up, we have another banger from Treyarch, Black Ops 2.
What a goated game. One of the best campaigns in COD history with one of the best villains, Raul Menendez, an amazing zombies mode, and hands down my favorite multiplayer in COD.
Yeah, the campaign was fucking awesome. The fact you could change the story based on the actions you took was innovative for Call of Duty, and the futuristic setting was also a big shakeup for the series.
The multiplayer had fantastic maps too, like Hijacked, Carrier, Raid, Standoff, Slums, Nuketown 2025, and many more. Plus, the Pick 10 system was another huge improvement. for the multiplayer, along with a bunch of amazing weapons and equipment.
I still can't believe we're only a year away from 2025. Those dope-ass wingsuits from the campaign better be invented by then.
We also got Mob of the Dead and Origins this game, two of the best maps of all time. I personally would put this game in S tier as well.
Have you all forgotten about Transit? That map alone brings this game down a tier for me. I think this game is kind of overrated. Black Ops 1 was way better.
You better take that back right now, Sleepy. Transit is a masterpiece. This game is easily S tier.
Cool at Cheetah Dust, Joe is right. Transit is a pretty big blemish on this game. Same with Die Rise, for that matter. Black Ops 2 is extremely good, but not perfect by any means. I think A tier would be a good compromise.
Damn, it hurts to put it any lower than S tier, but for the sake of moving on, I guess I can agree to that.
Damn you, Sleepy Joe, you'll pay for this!
Calm down, Cheddarhead. Let's move on to the next game. Next up, we have Call of Duty Ghosts.
I'm gonna turn you into a ghost after what you just did to Black Ops 2, Joe.
Now, gentlemen, calm down. We have a game to discuss here. That said, Ghosts is one of the biggest pieces of dog shit I've ever played.
Yeah, this shit was so forgettable I couldn't even tell you anything about the campaign except it had that shitty sequel bait ending that never came to fruition.
Yeah, and the multiplayer wasn't much better. The time to kill was insanely fast, and the maps were so fucking forgettable.
What a load of hokum. This game was amazing. The campaign was so cool with its apocalyptic setting. The multiplayer had amazing maps, plus you could play as Michael Myers and the Predator. And Extinction was so much fun.
Of course you liked playing as the Predator, Joe, considering you are one. This game sucks balls, and you won't convince any of us otherwise.
Fuck you, Annoying Orange. Ghost is a top-tier Call of Duty game. You just didn't give it a fair chance. So many great maps, like Strike Zone, Freight, Freefall, and Stonehaven. It's S tier.
Well, duly noted. Want to know what I believe? I believe that you're way out of your depth in this matter. So the next time that you want to come in here and tell me what I'm doing wrong, you are welcome to keep it to yourself. Because I don't care.
Damn, Obama. You didn't have to go so hard on him. But I agree with you two. This game sucks donkey dick. I'd put it in D tier personally. Extinction, at least, was somewhat fun.
Man, y'all are a bunch of cotton-headed ninny-muggins. You wouldn't know a good game if it smacked you in the head. But I know you won't listen to what I have to say anyway, so whatever. Put it where you want.
We'll do exactly that, Joe, down in D tier where it belongs. Now we get to go from one shitty game to the next. Advanced fucking Warfare.
The first game from Sledgehammer, and boy was it shit. The campaign was beyond forgettable, the multiplayer was okay, but nothing great, and the less said about exo-zombies the better.
The exosuits were an interesting shakeup for a series that was becoming somewhat stale, but it was done way better in Black Ops 3 and Infinite Warfare. Not to mention this game introduced shitty supply drops into the multiplayer.
The only good thing this game introduced was the press F to pay respects meme. Everything else was a joke. I mean, fucking Burger Town zombies. I'd rather drag my cock over broken glass than play that shit.
I cannot believe this malarkey I'm hearing. Do you guys just have no taste whatsoever? This game was so much fun. The campaign had so many awesome characters like Gideon, Mitchell, Joker, and of course the legendary Jonathan Irons played by Kevin Spacey.
Of course you like Kevin Spacey, considering you're both creeps. Why do you like the shittiest Call of Duty games, Joe?
They aren't shitty, Donald. They're just misunderstood. You can't appreciate what they were going for, but that doesn't mean the games are bad.
Don't fight me on this, Joe. I never lose.
Enough with the petty squabbles. We need to find out where we want to rank this game. I personally think it's pretty bottom of the barrel. I'd put it in D tier myself, but what are the rest of you thinking?
I feel for you, Joe, but I really can't rank it any higher than like C tier, and that's being generous. Sledgehammer really just makes the worst COD games.
Damn you all. Nobody cares about what I have to say. It's at least an A tier game.
Well, not today, it isn't. It's going in C tier, and you should be thankful it's that high.
I told you, Joe. I never lose.
All right, Ian Hawke, let's just move on to the next game.
Time for Black Ops 3. What an amazing game.
As far as zombies goes, it's easily S tier, but we need to take every aspect of the game into consideration. Remember how shitty the campaign for this game was? Probably the most convoluted and straight-up dumb campaign ever.
True, Barry. The only campaign I can think of that's worse is Biden's campaign for the presidency.
Fuck you, Donald. My campaign is way better than yours. But I agree, I nearly had a stroke when I first played through it back in 2015. I mean, it's pretty much not even connected to Black Ops 1 and 2.
God damn, how is this game already nearly 10 years old? Feels like just yesterday I booted up Shadows of Evil for the first time. But yeah, the campaign sucks ass. And not even having co-op could save it.
Speaking of zombies, this is definitely the undisputed best zombies game of all time. So many amazing maps and moments for the story. Custom Zombies makes the game infinitely replayable as well. Zombies alone puts this game in at least A tier for me.
Yeah, you're 100% right for once, Donnie. Zombies was peak during this game. But what do you guys think of the multiplayer? I thought it was pretty great. This game had my favorite version of the advanced movement system that started in AW.
I'm inclined to agree, Joe. It had a solid map selection too. The only thing I really hated was the horrendous supply drop system. All the post-launch weapons were locked behind shitty loot boxes. I paid like $1,000 trying to get the PPSH and I never did.
So what are we thinking then as far as the tier placement? I think I agree with Donald. It's an A tier for me solely because of zombies.
I'm fine with that. The campaign definitely hurts the game quite a bit, so it's not S tier, but B tier is too low for me.
I'm glad you all see things my way. Let's lock it in A and move on. Next up, we have Infinite Warfare. I fucking despised this game when it first came out, but it's definitely grown on me over the years.
Yeah, I remember when the first trailer came out and everyone lost their shit. It's still the most disliked gaming video on YouTube. We all wanted COD to return to boots on the ground, and they decided to double down on the advanced movement systems for a third game.
Yeah, almost everyone I knew only bought this game because they bundled it with Modern Warfare Remastered. But looking back, the game was actually pretty impressive in some aspects. The campaign was honestly one of the best in the series.
I never played it myself, but I've heard the same thing from a lot of people, so I'll take your word for it, George. Zombies is where this game really shines, though. Spaceland was an instant classic, and the rest of the maps weren't that bad either.
Yeah, I remember most of the community gave up on this game after Zombie Chronicles dropped, but man, they missed out. This game had some of the best Easter eggs and boss fights, and definitely the best super Easter egg reward with Director's Cut.
The multiplayer was pretty ass, though. I didn't really spend much time with it after the first couple weeks. Probably the least time I've ever put into any COD multiplayer. I genuinely can't remember any of the maps.
Yeah, I'm with you, Joe. That shit had me falling asleep more than you during a speech.
So taking all of that into consideration, what are we thinking, fellas? For me, it's about a B-tier COD game.
Yeah, I'm leaning that way myself, George. C feels a bit too low and A seems too high. B is a perfect middle ground.
I'm cool with that. I didn't play much of this game, so I trust your guys' placement.
B tier it is then. Let's move on to World War II.
All right, what are we thinking about this one, guys? I remember the reception to this game being pretty lukewarm at the time.
Yeah, it was cool to see COD go back to their roots after so long, but I don't know, man. It just didn't feel like a lot of passion was put into this game, in my opinion. It just felt like they had to make a game like this after the backlash from Infinite Warfare.
Yeah, I think everything about this game screams average. The campaign was nothing special as far as World War II shooters go. The multiplayer was whatever. And the zombies felt like a parody of Treyarch.
The Final Reich was pretty damn good in my opinion, but it was a downward spiral after that. I mean, the Tortured Path was the biggest waste of time. I would have rather had no map than that pile of shit.
Fuck you, Barry. The Tortured Path was awesome. The Easter egg step with the fish was so much fun. It was definitely as good as Shadows of Evil, at least.
I'm just gonna pretend like I didn't hear that blasphemous statement, Joe. I would rather be stuck in a gas chamber than play that map, if you can even call it a zombies map. I think this game is like D tier, personally. There's nothing special about it at all.
Well, I think it's a B-tier game. The war game mode was a lot of fun. I loved the map where you had to storm the beaches of Normandy, or the one where you had to build the bridge.
Damn, yeah, I almost forgot about the war mode. That was pretty fun at times. How about we compromise at C tier? It's a perfectly average game, so I think it's a good placement.
I think we can all agree to that. I don't think anyone here but Joe cares about this game enough to argue over it.
You're right about that, Barack. I just want to get this tier list over with, so for the sake of moving on, I'll agree to it.
Next up, we have Black Ops 4. Now, this is a controversial game.
Yeah, even before it came out, people were already pissed due to the lack of a campaign, rightfully so. Those shitty specialist missions certainly weren't a replacement for a real campaign.
Yeah, that was one of the dumbest moves Call of Duty ever made. But still, I remember being incredibly hyped for this game after the Blood of the Dead trailer dropped. This game was supposed to be amazing for zombies, but we all know how it ended up.
I didn't really mind the lack of a campaign personally. It's not like any of the campaigns that came after this game were worth playing. Zombies was a huge letdown though. Game-breaking technical issues, an annoying perk system, no original ether maps, the cancellation of factions. This game had so much potential, but was ruined by dumb decisions and being forced to take over for Sledgehammer halfway through the game's life cycle.
Yeah, Zombies definitely wasn't as great as Black Ops 3, but it had some good moments, like the Chaos maps. But we all knew Zombies was a train wreck. What do you guys think about Blackout mode? I personally thought it had a lot of charm and was more fun than Warzone.
It was decent. I liked the fact you could unlock characters by doing challenges mid-game. And the map being made up of locations from older multiplayer and Zombies maps was pretty dope. But the gameplay was just average to me.
I never really played it too much. I was over Battle Royales at the time and didn't really like the gunplay in Black Ops 4. The multiplayer was ass too, in my opinion, just another bland, forgettable experience.
You're cooking right now, Donald. This game was just pretty bad all around. Zombies was the only thing even remotely worth playing, and that's not saying a whole lot. Infinite Warfare Zombies was better than what we got here. I'd put this game in D tier personally.
I think that's too low, Barry. Zombies may not have been as good as Black Ops 3, but there's still fun to be had. I think C tier is more fitting.
I'm with Obama on this one, Joe. The game frankly wasn't complete. If it at least had a campaign, I'd agree with you, but it's just lacking so much that I think even World War II is better than this garbage.
Not to mention Blackout is pretty much completely unplayable on PC nowadays, and I'd honestly rather never play video games again than play even one multiplayer match in this game. So Zombies is all you're left with, and it's inconsistent as hell. Due to the wasted potential of this game, I think D tier is where it should go.
All right, geez, tell us how you really feel, George. But I guess you guys have made good arguments. Let's put it in D then.
Next up is Modern Warfare 2019. This game brings my fucking piss to a boil. This was the beginning of the end for Call of Duty.
Yeah, this game sucks so much. I hate the new engine they started using with this game, and almost all the content in this game was abysmal. The campaign didn't hold a candle to the OG Modern Warfare. The multiplayer maps were total shit. Spec Ops and especially survival mode was horrendous. I pretty much stopped playing COD multiplayer completely after this game.
Yeah, I especially hated that one fucking map, Piccadilly. The developers of this game can suck my Piccadilly.
Damn, you guys really hate this one, huh? Well, I can't exactly disagree. I wouldn't go back to this game in a million years. Warzone was basically the only good thing to come out of it, and that's a separate listing on this tier list. So it won't even be a factor in our ranking for this game.
I think the gunplay and movement for these newer games is an improvement, but the newer Call of Duty games just lack personality and content. All they care about now is selling bundles and battle passes.
You're spitting facts, Joe. This game should have at least had a zombies mode. They should have continued Infinite Warfare Zombies. It would have made this game at least somewhat replayable.
Sounds like we pretty much all despise this game. I think it'd be hilarious to put it in F tier for dramatic purposes.
I'm with you 100%, Barry. Almost every COD before this, even the shit ones, have at least some content that I'd come back and replay now and then. But this one, I could easily go the rest of my life without ever touching again.
All right, let's do it then. We're almost done with this tier list, and I'm hungry for some ice cream, so I want to finish soon.
Next up is the original Warzone. They have Warzone Pacific as a separate game, but they're pretty much the same thing on different maps, so we should rank them together. I fucking love playing this during the pandemic. Verdansk especially was awesome.
Yeah, I have fond memories of us 4 running squads on here. I remember our strategy for Verdansk was to ride the train the entire game and capture flags so we could find out where the last circle was so we could get into a good position for the end game.
I love playing Rebirth Island too. It was fast-paced and hectic as fuck. We got so many dubs back in the day. Not too bad we always had to carry Joe's noob ass.
That was uncalled for, Barry, but like I said, I preferred Blackout's more cartoony and silly nature. I mean, you couldn't get the ray gun in Warzone, but it was fun enough.
Remember the Michelle Obama game mode they added to Warzone Pacific? That shit was so crazy and fun.
What the hell are you talking about, Donald? Michelle was never in Warzone.
Yes, she was, Barry. She had an entire mode where she fought against Godzilla on the map. I loved getting in an airplane and shooting that big bitch down.
Oh, fuck you, Trump. I should have known you'd say some out-of-pocket racist shit.
I'll say it again. Enough with the petty squabbles. Now, where do we want to put Warzone 1.0? If it were still available to play, I'd put that shit in S tier. But the fact they replaced it with Warzone 2 means it's gone forever. So I think A tier would be a good spot.
I fully support that placement, Bush. It was some of the most fun I ever had playing Call of Duty.
That's cool with me too. Let's move on to the next game.
Next we have Call of Duty Cold War.
Definitely an improvement over Modern Warfare 2019. The campaign was a nice throwback to Black Ops 1 and introduced some cool characters like Adler and Park, and had some choices you could make to change the story, although it wasn't as fleshed out as Black Ops 2.
They kind of ruined Mason and Woods in this game, though. They barely did anything of note. But it's still the best modern COD campaign, in my opinion. Zombies was fun as hell, but the maps were definitely lacking in the personality department. All the maps play pretty much exactly the same and don't have much to do other than grind for camos.
I loved how they made the Easter eggs more accessible and gave the player a lot of tools to experiment with. Outbreak mode was a lot of fun too. The player had so much freedom to explore and do things at their own pace.
I knew the Predator-in-Chief would glaze this game's Zombies mode. It's too fucking easy for a pro like myself. I fall asleep more than Joe playing this game. Firebase L is one of the worst maps of all time, and don't even get me started on Outbreak. My rage towards that mode might genuinely give me a heart attack.
I'd say it's probably the 30 Big Macs a week that will give you a heart attack, Donald. But yeah, Zombies was definitely easier and less interesting this game, but you have to remember they took over making this game because Sledgehammer was too incompetent, so we should cut them some slack.
The lack of a set crew definitely made the story harder to care about. And mixing campaign characters into zombies was dumb as hell. We can only hope the next game fixes some of these issues. But enough about zombies. The multiplayer for this game was pretty decent, but again, I just find it hard to care at all about modern Call of Duty's multiplayer. I get bored so quickly.
Yeah, I pretty much only play COD for zombies now, so I don't really have an opinion. I think Cold War is a pretty good game, though. All things considered, it's probably B tier for me.
It's like a C tier for me. Perfectly average, but still a huge step down from what we had in the past.
I think it's an A tier game. I put so many hours into this one, it was probably the most fun COD game for me since Black Ops 3.
Looks like I'm making the tie-breaking vote then. I agree with Barry, though. It's a solid game that at least feels like there was some passion put into it. But it's not among the upper echelon of Call of Duty games. If they just had more time, this could have easily been one of the best COD games.
I'm fine with B tier as long as the Oompa Loompa over here doesn't get his way.
You can have this one, Joe. I'm just ready to hear what stupid shit you say about Vanguard next.
All right, time for Vanguard. One of the most miserable excuses for a COD game I've ever played.
Yeah, Sledgehammer really needs to be banned from making Call of Duty games. Almost everything they have their grubby hands in turns to shit, and this is the worst of them all. I would have preferred Advanced Warfare 2 over this mess of a game.
Yeah, the campaign is an incomprehensible dumpster fire. The multiplayer is a mishmash of shit from a bunch of older games, and the zombies, god damn, the zombies is a nightmare.
Man, y'all are a bunch of negative Nancys. This game is Van Goated. Der Anfang and Terra Maledicta are some of the most unique and fun experiences in Zombies history, giving you a bunch of objectives that shake up the gameplay from round to round. And Shino Numa Reborn and the Archon are great round-based maps for fans of classic zombies. The Dark Ether Gods, as well as Professor Gabriel Kraft and Von List, are all super interesting characters too, that flesh out the world of Vanguard zombies.
Joe, is this some kind of sick out of season April Fool's joke? Everything you just said is total bullshit that could only be conjured up by a depraved and sick mind.
Yeah, what the actual fuck? Daranfong and Terra Maledicta are completely devoid of content and fun. Shi no Numa Reborn is just a remake of a mid-map that we've seen so many fucking times. And the Archon is just Terra Maledicta, but fucking green.
I'm genuinely concerned for you, Joe. The dementia may be getting so bad that you've actually forgotten what constitutes as a fun game. Vanguard is worse than 9/11, Hurricane Katrina, and the war in Afghanistan combined. And you know it's bad if I'm the one saying that.
Why can't you guys just let people enjoy things? If I think it's a good game, then that's all that matters to me.
Well, this is a fucking tier list, Joe, so our opinions matter too, but this isn't even a matter of opinion. This game objectively sucks, Tyrannosaur testicles.
I'm not even gonna dignify Joe's nonsense with a response. This game is getting its own tier below F, and that's final.
You're all a bunch of bullies. I'm out of here.
Well, that just happened.
That's what Joe gets for always having the worst possible opinions. He'll get over it, though. Let's just finish the tier list without him.
All right, time for the reboot version of Modern Warfare 2. I honestly have never even played this piece of shit. So it's an automatic F tier for me.
You weren't missing out on anything, Georgie. This game just further cemented the downfall of Call of Duty. It doesn't even deserve the name of Modern Warfare 2.
Like Sledgehammer, Infinity Ward should never be allowed to make a Call of Duty game again. They have fallen from grace since the days of the original Modern Warfare trilogy, have shown they have no interest in addressing community feedback, and actively sabotage Sledgehammer games multiple times. Clearly, the talent behind the good games is long gone, and now the franchise is being run by soulless corporate goons who care more about selling skins than making a good game.
I couldn't have put it any better myself, Donald. Fuck Modern COD and fuck this game. F tier!
Well, that's what I'm talking about. To hell with this shitty game.
Not sure why Warzone 2 was even created. They just ruined a perfectly good battle royale and expected people to stick around. Fortnite clears this shit all day long.
Yeah, I can't hit the gritty while playing as Peter Griffin in Warzone, so why the fuck would I ever play this?
This shit isn't even worth getting mad over Obama. We all know where this shit is going anyways. Let's just place it and spare ourselves the misery of discussing it any further.
Now, on to the most recent entry in this fading franchise, Modern Warfare 3. Compared to this pile of filth, the original MW3 might as well be the greatest game ever made.
For real, I mean, where the fuck do we even begin with this $70 DLC? It's essentially an update to Modern Warfare 2, which already limits any potential it had to be great. This is exemplified perfectly with its dog shit excuse of a campaign. And I use that word very loosely because it's literally just running around on a fucking Warzone map doing trite objectives.
No kidding. And they managed to make the return of Makarov in this reboot severely underwhelming as well. He's not threatening in the slightest and looks like a Wish.com version of Ben Shapiro. Let's also not forget how anticlimactic Soap's death was compared to the original MW3.
This game was originally pitched as Advanced Warfare 2, and as much hate as I give the advanced movement era of COD. It would have been a nice shakeup from the years of torture we've had to endure from the Activision overlords pushing out these annual anal secretions.
Yeah, if the era of COD 4 to Black Ops 2 could be considered the golden age of games, then this current era is definitely the dark ages.
Don't even get me started on zombies. While the concept of an open-world zombies is interesting, this simply was not it, Chief. Reused enemies and mechanics from Cold Sore. Boring objectives that grow stale after a single playthrough. And a story that is impossible to care about, especially when it revolves around such unlikable characters. I mean, do they really expect us to care about fucking Barrera, annoying little weasel? Jimmy Zielinski and Jason Blundell would be sickened by what zombies has become.
Good thing Joe wasn't here to hear you say Zelensky, George. He'd start cutting a check to his new boyfriend over in Ukraine.
To be fair though, the best part of this game is the multiplayer. They actually addressed issues from Modern Warfare 2, even though they should have been fixed in an update in that game instead of selling a new one for $70. But unfortunately, the praise stops there. This game is simply another vehicle for selling overpriced bundles disguised as a new premium COD experience. Still, Given the fact that they tried a tiny bit harder than the last couple games, I think a D tier placement is fine. But like the very bottom of D, just teetering on the edge, kind of like Joe's current mental stability. And Donald's freedom from prison where he'll be Big Bubba's bitch.
Goddamn Obunga went on a yapping spree there. This game didn't even deserve to have all that oxygen wasted on it, even if you were spitting facts. Minus that little comment at the end.
Well, I'm fine with D tier. I'm just ready to be done talking about this franchise that I no longer recognize.
All right, not a bad list if I do say so myself. I'm sure there will be plenty of salty fanboys in the comments, though.
The fact some of these train wrecks even have fanboys is wild, but oh well. I think we did a pretty good job. I'm just praying the next Call of Duty game redeems this franchise from years of mediocrity.
I'd keep your expectations low, although it'd actually be impressive if they could make anything worse than the last few games. Anyways, I'm gonna go watch the new episode of Young Sheldon. I hope nothing bad happens to any of the characters, especially George Sr. He's a true Sigma male badass.
You have fun with that, Georgie. I'm gonna go cleanse my mind of these shitty games with something good like Elden Ring. Peace out, homies.
What a zesty motherfucker. Anyway, see you, George. I have legal shit to take care of. Talk to you later.